All right, let's get this party started. Oh, I forgot to turn on my little my webcam. Hold on. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome on Soul Commodore here, back at you again. We're going to be doing some more painting today, as you can see with the screen here. Um, I set it up in a different kind of arrangement, so you may not see much of my face while we're doing this. Because I wasn't just gonna sit here and like paint like this, because I don't know. I don't know, maybe that does work. You all let me know what you think. But anyway, uh, welcome on in. We're gonna be doing some more painting today on this painting that I'm doing for my wife for our living room. But before I go on any further, Elle, thank you very much for the raid. Very much appreciated you bringing in your community like that. Um, 100% painting run blindfolded. Maybe one of these days I will do a blindfolded painting to see what happens. That's actually not a bad idea, Elle. But not today because this is a special painting. So, but that is a good idea that I'm gonna have to keep in my back pocket, and I will give you credit for it. But yeah, um, thank you very much for the raid. I hope the rest of your stream went well. I was in there lurking, looked very, very good. What you were working on. If anybody coming in from the raid needs a bathroom break, a food break, any sort of break, feel free to go do what you need to do. But without further ado, we are going to get started on this. All right. Do I have everything I need? Okay, there's my paintbrushes. Got my paints, camera set up. Got my rag, extra brushes, and myself. So yeah, I was able to send Jake his painting. He was very excited that that he was depicted. So thank you again for that help. Yeah, we're in a different configuration than we usually are today because I figured why the hell not? You know, do something a little different. And again, I wish I could figure out why my webcam keeps lagging like that. And I think it's just the quality of the webcam, but at least my regular camera doesn't pixelate anymore. But hey, you win some, you lose some. All right. Oh, good. My wife made it to her massage appointment. All right, so I'm just gonna zoom in on my reference photo, make sure that I'm in the right spot. And I am. So let's do it to it. Yo, Edison, welcome in. How are you? So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna fill in the front of this storefront here. Some of the reflection of the light on the ground. Tired and sore, works at I'm sorry work sucked today. I definitely feel that. Definitely had my share of bad work days, but hopefully you're able to kick back and relax a little while we work on this painting. Yeah, exactly what Elle said. Hopefully you're able to just kick back, relax some. Oh, look at that. My head doesn't actually cut off a whole lot. That's good. I put the camera high enough. Yeah, I have a little bit of prep needed for tomorrow. Otherwise, it's a relaxed night. Nice, nice. Thank you very much. It's coming together. It's getting there. I'll be really excited once we start on the road itself and the reflections that are on the road. Uh, but that will come in due time. For now, we just gotta do what's right in front of us, which is all the highlights from the light in front of the store. There we go. And I'm going to take some paint off of the brush and then just kind of blend some of this out this way. There we go. Not bad, not bad. If I do say so myself, which I do. Magic? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Oh, excuse my hand. There. All right. Now, I'm gonna get a skinny brush. Well, the skinniest brush that I have, because as I mentioned last stream, I gotta replace a lot of my brushes because in the big move into this house, I lost a lot of my brushes. I.e., I left them in the canister with the water too long, and then the water dried up, and then the brushes dried up, and no amount of rubbing alcohol was going to solve that. So I had to get rid of a lot of my brushes. But hey, that kind of stuff happens. There's nothing you can do about it. So in the meantime, we just keep on pressing on. There we go. All right, I'm gonna keep that like that because I like how that looks. I'm just gonna smooth out one part of the near the top here, even it up a little bit. Also, as per usual, let me know how the audio is. If I need to be louder or softer, if the music needs to be louder or softer. And let me know what you think of this two-camera setup for paint, because I set that up for the drawing streams because the drawing streams are top-down. But let me know what you think of this setup. Okay, what are we going to do now? We are going to what is it that we're going to do? Oh, I know what we're going to do. The easiest thing to do for paintings like this, for me at least, is to kind of build from the light. And in this case, we're going to do it literally. It's nice. Ah, cool, cool. Thank you for letting me know. I swear, one of these days, I will. Maybe for my birthday coming up, I will buy myself an actual webcam, and we can get some nice secondary camera. Or I'll make my phone the secondary camera, and the nice webcam that'll be like, I don't know, 1080p or something can actually show the artwork. But I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Either that, or I'm gonna buy myself a Super Mario RPG and some brushes for my birthday, like the Super Mario RPG remake. All right. So, like I said, the easiest thing to do I find with paintings like this is to build literally from the light. Well, figuratively and literally, but this time it's going to be literal. So we got this street light here. So we're gonna. Yo, Jess. I think the only thing I'd like is the mini camera part to be like above the artwork looking at you so that you're not constantly having to turn to the side to chat with us. Otherwise, it's great. Ooh, oh, well, thank you, Edit. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Um, but welcome in, Raiders. Gotta give a shout out to Jess. Jess, thank you very much for the raid. I hope your stream went well. You doing some art? Yeah, you were doing some art. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Soul Commodore. I'm an artist. Sometimes I play games on here, but not today. Today we are working on a painting for my wife that's going to go in our living room. Um, but welcome on in. If any of you need to take a break, need to relax, need to grab some food, need a washroom break, need to go for a run, you need to like just drink something, you know, take a nap, whatever it is you need to do, feel free to raid and run. It's all good. I'm just thankful that y'all are here. But thank y'all for coming in. Thank you for trusting your community with me. Oh, thank you for the follow. Forgive me if I mess up the first part of your name. Mick T919? Or is it Mike 19? Either way, thank you very much for the follow. Very much appreciated. Jess, how was your stream? Hope your stream went well. Yes, that's true, L. The canvas is tacked right to the wall. Yeah. It would be an ideal, not logical. Yeah. Yeah. But hey, who knows? I'm always pretty fluid with my setups, so everything could I could try that one day, like actually like anchoring the camera to the wall facing me. But hey, we'll see what happens. Anyway, we are going to build out this light post that all of this lovely light is coming from. Ah, I love that emote. I need to do the rest of the Commodores in my emotes because I've only got two of them. I only got Lionel Richie and then that one that Jess just did, Ronald the Pred. I need to do the rest of them. It'd be a disservice not to include the rest of them. The rest of them boys. So. We're gonna start kind of just beating this down. But I hope you're doing well, Jess. It's good to see you. I know I haven't been around as much as I usually was, but work and then life kind of got in the way of my stream watching during most of the day. Um, but I hope you're doing well. As I was running out the door the other day, I saw that you were playing some Phasmophobia. So that's a game that I would love to fire up and play with maybe some of y'all that like horror games. I don't have the game, but I get it for that. Like maybe if I was doing like a charity stream again, I get it for that. All right, so now we're gonna do some magic. In which case, the gray that I'm using for this light post in this part is gonna be too light once we get into the foreground here. So we're just gonna make it darker with some black. And then as it fades here into the foreground, we continue down. I didn't hear anything you said. Jay was like, "Oop, you're done streaming. Here's an info dump." Fair. I mean, no need to apologize. It's no need to apologize at all. Uh, I do that with my wife sometimes. Yo, Squid, welcome in. How are you? How are you? No, I was saying that I was sorry that I haven't been able to join your streams like I usually do, just because of work and life schedules kind of put a kibosh on that for the time being. But you know, that I was hoping that you're doing well, and that I saw you playing Phasmophobia the other day, and how I wouldn't mind playing that game with chat. Like if I did like a charity stream or something, I'd have to buy the game, but I think that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of fun. Especially because I like watching horror games, and the closest thing I've come to playing a horror game is I played Inside once. I am a married man after all. That is true. The one thing that's been nice about, well, I mean, there's plenty of things that have been nice about being married, but one of the nice things is that I actually had some people tell me, like, man, just wait till marriage. Like that's when relationships get tough. And I don't know, marriage has been quite nice so far. Hasn't really been tough. Phasmo's a lot of fun. I personally don't find it scary because I've played so many. Ah, fair, fair. Yeah, no, it looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun. All right, so now we're going to set up the base of this light, which actually I'm gonna have to extend that a little bit more because the base technically darts out a little bit. So we're gonna add a little bit of red to that gray. Oh, I'm gonna have to darken it a little. Remember, when you're painting, a little bit of black goes a long way. It's very easy to darken something, very hard to lighten something. So make sure if you're gonna darken something up that you pace yourself. If you want to maximize your income for donation, then I recommend Dixper, because people can mess with your game, and the scare alerts are also visual and very scary. Ooh, nice, nice, fair. That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah, because last year I didn't get a chance to, what with getting married and then moving into a house, I didn't get to do a charity stream last year. The year before was a lot of fun. So it's something that I'm definitely planning on doing this year. So that's some good advice. Thank you. Same area or more affordable? So it's the town over from the city that we were in, because we were in Pickering, now we're in Ajax. It's more affordable, but mostly because technically my wife and I bought half the house, and her parents bought the other half, and they are renting it out to a couple of friends of ours. Like my wife's maid of honor and her fiance are living in our basement. So it kind of worked out for everyone because they were looking for a new place to live. We were looking for a house, and her parents, like they're not retired, but they thought, hey, why not help everybody out and get some, passive income? So kind of worked out for everybody. But we got very lucky in that the things like kind of turned in our favor market wise, where all of a sudden there were a couple of houses that were actually affordable for us with her parents' help. So we got very, 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 very lucky. Extremely lucky. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna add a little bit of a dark bit here. I hope what I'm doing is showing up on camera all right. It's sometimes hard to tell. A slight dip at the right time. That's amazing. Super happy for you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is? Okay, cool. Cool. Good to know. Thank you, Edison. All right. So there's our light post. Nice squarely in the foreground there. Now, what's next in here? What are we gonna do next? I think it's time to start building out the foreground here. I'm gonna hit you with a lurk. Oh. Gonna hit you with a lurk though. Need to stop staring at the screen. Fair enough. Fair enough. No, by all means, please take a break if you need to. And thank you for the raid again. It's always good to see you. Very good to see you again. And thank you very much for the lurk. And of course, with the lurks comes, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Thank you for the lurk, Jess. Hope the rest of your day is amazing. All right, so let's start building out this foreground. So what we're gonna need is I'm gonna need a slightly larger brush. That'll do. Being very careful not to spill the water that the brushes are sitting in, because it's right beside my laptop, because I like to live dangerously. Also, I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anyone's messages with the raid, because sometimes that can happen. I just said I'm gonna buy Super Mario RPG. I know this in my heart. I mean, I may not, because I already have the original, and I've seen gameplay of the new one, and I really, really enjoy it. And I really want to try and do a playthrough with the new music and all that. But I mean, the original, like I can play that anytime I want, you know, which is luxury. That's the one thing I really, really liked about the fact that they finally re-released it. is that people who didn't have a chance to experience Super Mario RPG when they were a kid, like I did, finally get to play it because it's a fantastic game, and I'm very happy for everyone who is experiencing it for the first time and falling in love with it. Because some kid is having the experience that I had as a kid. I had no idea how RPGs worked. I had no idea what they were. I didn't know what they were. But my mom found Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo at a yard sale of all things. She brought it home, and I fell in love with it. Just the scope of it is just very different than any other Mario game I had ever played. Because my frame of reference was like all of the 3D games, right? So roommate and I just got through a Persona 3 reload, and it was so worth playing the remake. So many quality of life improvements. Fair. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, there aren't, at least in my opinion, there aren't very many quality of life improvements that Super Mario RPG needed, like the original. But I'm sure there's some where I'm going to start playing it and be like, oh, you know what, this is so much better. So we're filling in now a very, very, very muted green, which the greenness may not be showing up on camera, but I promise you, this is a very muted green for this grass because it's nighttime, right? You're obviously not going to get a very vibrant green like you would during the day. So, yo, I'm here but lurking. Or am I? Well, you get the lurk song anyway. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Welcome in, Ellis. Enjoy your lurk. Thank you for dropping in. Always good to see you. So yeah, this is a very, very dark green, almost a brown actually. What am I painting on? So this is canvas. It's primed canvas, just tacked to the wall, basically. Because I find that the easiest thing to do. That's the one thing I loved about my last two apartments before moving into this house is I finally had like enough wall space that I could like tip up paintings to the wall and work on them there. Unstretched canvas? Yep. Yep. I will actually stretch this on the stretcher once the painting's done. Yes, indeed. I forget who it was. I think it was Chitanda was curious. Now that you'd mentioned the game, L, who was telling me that I think he said that I would really enjoy the Persona series. It's something I ought to look into. How am I going to finish the edge of the painting? So curious. So usually what happens at it is before I actually do any sort of painting on here, is I will actually mark out, and sometimes once I lay down the base layer of paint, I'll remeasure, and I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this. So what I do is to get the size of the painting, I'll mark out the frame and just kind of pencil that in. So you can see a little bit here, or maybe not, that's off camera. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll like frame out the dimensions of the painting and just like either do it with charcoal or pencil, and then usually I'll paint over the edges so that all areas of the painting are covered, including the edges once I stretch it, right? Um, and sometimes what I'll do is I will remeasure it out once there's like the base layer of paint on here. So I'll take like a white charcoal pencil, and like this one's 24 by 36. So I'll just draw that frame in again. That way I get a good frame of reference of where things are. Now, this painting, there isn't really any central figure or person or anything that I really need to focus on. So I don't have to worry about the edges as much. Um, so with that, it kind of frees things up, where I don't have to be as cognizant of the edges. Um, but yeah, and then once the painting's done, I'll have enough coverage past the edges that I drew, that I don't even have to worry about centering the image all that much on the stretcher. And then I just tack it into place, and we're good to go. The one thing I do have to worry about, and the one edge that I'll usually line up, is the bottom edge or the top edge, to make sure that the painting is level, right? To make sure that it's a straight on view. Because you don't want to tack it on and then your entire image is crooked, right? But yeah, that's usually how I do it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Some people sometimes worry about, because what I'll do too is, because very limited space, right? Of what you do with the painting once it's done, like if it's hanging in a show, like what do you do with it? And it's like, well, I take it off the stretcher and I roll it up, like so. Um, and I forget who it was, but someone had mentioned that, aren't you worried about like the paint, like kind of stretching out once you re-stretch it again? And it actually, thankfully, acrylic doesn't do that very much, because acrylic's very plastic and very pliable. So I don't notice that happening too much with acrylics. Now oils may, but I did do some oil paintings and did the same thing, and thankfully there wasn't really much of a difference. It didn't really crack or stretch or anything like that. So maybe I just got lucky with it. But yeah. It's a fun way of doing things, because when you're tacking a painting up on the wall, it also frees you up from any sort of like size constraints if you've got the room for it, right? Because it's very hard to work on a 6 foot by 4 foot painting per se. Um, if you've got it on a stretcher already, it's not very movable. But if you just tack it onto the wall and then you work on it on there, well, if you don't have a stretcher, if you don't have the stretcher built to actually stretch the thing, you can just, once the painting's finished, you can just roll it up, and then you can stretch it whenever your heart desires. Um, like a lot of the paintings that I've done for this stream, um, like on this stream, like I haven't even stretched them yet. They're they're just sitting to the right of me, um, in a little bin, waiting for the day that they'll actually get onto a stretcher. And then once I get accepted into a show, or I have like another solo exhibition or something, then I just pull them out, go buy some wood, stretch them, and then if I don't need them anymore, then I just take them off the stretchers and go from there. It's not too bad a system. I did say wood, L. I did. I actually have some, if anybody was interested, I have some VODs um, from earlier, either earlier this year or like in December or November or something like that. But I think it was earlier this year, where I actually um, started, like, showed the process of taking apart canvases um, and taking them off the stretchers. So if anyone's interested on what that looks like, feel free to look those videos up. You're an adult. We're all adults here. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to build out this lawn on the other side of the street because there's some grass over here. Basically just going to do the same thing. And then all the details we're going to fill in later because there's a sidewalk here. There's a, like I said, a light post that's going to be going right here. There's all of that. And of course the road here, there's going to be reflections and everything, but we're not going to worry about that now. Right now we're just going to put in the base layer paint for this grass. We can worry about all those details later. We ain't gonna worry about it now. Okay. Now, yeah, that kind of just fades into nothingness, doesn't it? Yeah, cool. There's a tree in the background here, very dark, but I'm just gonna kind of fill that in right now while I've got the color on my brush. Because you can be economical that way. Switch brushes? Never. Yeah, no, there's a time and a place to switch brushes, but not right now. Oh, all right. So I'm not going to worry about any more of that. Uh, I am, believe it or not, going to switch brushes now. And we're going to start putting in some of these reflections on the road. Right? It's shocking. Now, for me, this is actually the most technically difficult part of these pieces. So we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully, it goes well. But we'll see. Because you have to make a whole bunch of decisions on where the light's going to go, and then you got to go back in and build in some of the shadows where the light's not hitting, and then you go back in and do I plan to varnish these up for shiny maximum? Actually, no. um I have nothing against varnish, while other people varnishing their pieces, I've never really been much interested in varnishing my own. Um, like I did a couple of them in university, and even with the matte finish varnish, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Um, so unfortunately, it doesn't get any extra gloss. I've always been too lazy and cheap. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, me like I just didn't enjoy it. Uh, enjoy the way it looked when it was done personally on my own work. Varnish looks amazing on other people's work, but for me, yeah, it just didn't jive. Right. In the words of uh, what's his name, Bob Ross, we got a decision to make. And I mean, I do have a reference image that I took, like the street corner where I took this picture. But at the same time, it can be nerve wracking because you know the basic outline of where stuff is. But now it's time to actually put up or shut up. Um, all right, here we go. Hopefully, this turns out. Yeah, varnish isn't is not cheap. So I don't blame you there, Al. To be honest, low key, that's probably another reason why I don't bother with it because it is expensive. Okay, there's one that turned out fairly okay. Now a lot of the area up here, the road is white, with a few areas that aren't. So we're gonna come back in afterwards and fill in, like put in the darker areas. But for now, I'm just gonna focus on putting in the white. All right. Let me get some of this paint off the brush. Now, a big thing that I've always talked about when I'm doing like drawings and everything, right, is how it's really beneficial to break everything down into shapes, right? Like you guys have heard me talk about that over and over again ad nauseum. Um, but it really does come in handy for something like this, where you're like, what do I do here? Like, how do I even start to attempt to fill any of this in? Um, but it's really easy if you just kind of break down what you're seeing. It's not easy, obviously, but like I shouldn't uh, infantilize it that way. It's not easy because it takes practice and it takes time, but breaking the road down into shapes instead of trying to look at it and be like, I got to make a wet road, is I'm just painting the shapes of the highlights. And then later on, I'll go back in and paint the shapes of the shadows. And that does help a little bit, kind of take the, at least for me, it takes some of the spookiness away of like, all of these are pretty like ill-defined shapes. Like, what do I do? Where do I even start? And that's something that you can kind of start with. It's just realizing that a lot of times this is just a bunch of shapes, just a bunch of shapes and colors. Which again sounds like I'm breaking it down like too simply, but really at the end of the day, that's what it is. Like I remember before I moved to the GTA, I wasn't a huge fan of driving. Now I love driving, but at the time, driving scared me, you know. And the idea of driving in Toronto was like, oh my goodness, like I can't even fathom, you know. Um, I can't even fathom driving in a city like Toronto, you know. There's so much traffic and so many people, like oh my goodness, like it was very scary, right? And then one of my art friends was having a show up here, and she invited me. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll come for that. And on the way up from Chatham, I decided to just take all the back roads. So I took a very scenic route. And then when I got up here, my GPS glitched out. And it took me on the Gardner Express in the middle of rush hour. And then it took me off the highway down a whole bunch of side streets that ended up not being the destination at all. I don't know what Google was doing, but it was not having its best day that day. But it was very important that that happened to me because I found something out. And the thing that I found out was, at the end of the day, as scary as it is, and I don't want to downplay the scariness because it was scary. But at the end of the day, Toronto is just like Chatham, Ontario. It's all this, it's road signs, it's traffic signs, traffic lights, and cars. You know, and every once and again a pedestrian. And it getting lost like that actually kind of took the mysticism out of driving in Toronto. And after that, it's like, oh, okay, that's all it is. You know? And I feel like if you can break down painting into basic shapes and forms rather than trying to capture everything all at once. It makes it that much easier. It's been a long time since I've done serious painting, but yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's actually kind of the same concept of with you look at weight loss, right? Because we'll take like a healthy weight loss, right? Which is maybe like 5 pounds a month, right? That's a very healthy, sustainable weight loss for a lot of people, right? Now, if you start in January and your New Year's resolution is, I want to lose 30 pounds, right? Because I want to get beach body ready. Even though if you have a body and you go to the beach, you have a beach body. There you go, right? It's not the people who are overweight and feeling self-conscious that are the problem. It's the people who stigmatize having bigger bodies and burying them in public. Like, get over yourselves. Bigger people exist sometimes. Deal with it. Anyway, that's a tangent for another day. But if you want to lose 30 pounds, you want to lose 30 pounds, and that's great. But for a lot of people, that 30 pounds is too big. It's too much all at once, especially because weight loss, when done healthily, is so incremental. And weighing yourself every day, if it works for you, that's great. But there's so many fluctuations that your weight can have over the course of a day, what with water weight, with what you eat, even though it's not contributing to your weight as long as you're in a deficit, right? The 30 pounds, like, I want to lose 30 pounds in 6 months, right? It's too big a goal, and you'll get frustrated when you feel like the numbers aren't going that way that quickly. But if you condense it down to the basics and say, I want to lose 5 pounds a month. I want to lose 5 pounds a month. If you're able to stick to it, because it's a smaller goal, right? It's not a big macro, like, I want to lose such and such by a far away date. It's, I want to lose 5 pounds a month and keep that sustainable. Guess what? In 6 months, you will have lost 30 pounds, which was your original goal, right? So sometimes breaking things down into the more digestible pieces leads to more success. And painting and drawing is no different. Because yeah, at the end of the day, whether we're doing something photorealistic or we're doing abstract, everything is colors and shapes. And that's kind of beautiful in a way. Sort of like how music ain't nothing but 12 notes. And the same 12 notes we got today are the same 12 notes that, all the composers back in the day were using. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. That turned into much more of a rant than I thought it would. But I'm sure those of you who have been here for a while are used to that from me. More of a tangent. Yes, you're right. More of a tangent than a rant. Yes, you are correct. But yes, I'm famous for my tangents. I go on a lot of them. Sometimes it's fun, but in other times I'm sure people are like, TJ, shut the hell up. Now we got a big area down here. Never. uh, I thought you did a good job making it relatable for anyone. Well, thank you, Edson. I appreciate that. I do try. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to take a lot of paint off the brush. I just realized that you all can't really see that what I'm doing. Let's see if I can angle this down some without destroying my stand. There we go. I'm finally going to introduce a little bit of black to the white that I was using. Get more of a gray tone. Now, working with acrylic, you got to be quick with this because acrylic dries so quickly. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going to put down some fairly wet paint here and then come in with black and just go over it like so. I might need a bigger brush for that actually. Let's use you. This brush is still fairly wet, but that's okay. How is it 7 o'clock already? My goodness. We've been having too much fun. Okay. Oh, let's not dip my hand right in the paint. Okay. So we're gonna grab some black, and then we're just gonna kind of go right across. Not perfect, but you can do it as many times as you want, basically. Like I'm gonna come back in here with some wetter white. This will give us a nice, very wet pavement kind of look. At least that's the hope at the end of the day. It's just a bunch of layering. You give us a good base layer. Then any parts that we make too dark, we could just go back in and once it's dry and put some white back over it. And that'll lighten it back up. So Edison, you were saying earlier that it's been a while since you've done serious painting. So you do some painting yourself? Still keeping up with it every once and again? Obviously, this would be easier to do with oil paint because the paint stays wet for much longer, but not impossible to do with acrylic paint. You just have to be quicker and more exacting with it, I guess. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right. Now we're gonna come back in with the bigger brush and start doing some detail. My wife is on her way home. She got a good massage. She injured her shoulder uh, last year from doing a dragon boat, but thankfully it's healed up enough now that through physio and massages that now she's able to do some light weights again, like some light shoulder exercises. And the other day she got really excited because she did some push-ups, which she hasn't been able to do push-ups in a while. So yeah, it was very, very exciting. Now some of these marks here don't actually exist in the um, what do you call it? Reference image. But I'm putting them in because I think that they would add a good amount of depth. Ah, pizza time. Nice, nice, nice. Well, thank you for the lurk, L. Also, thank you for the raid earlier. Always great to see you. Glad that you were able to hang out. And enjoy your pizza. And of course, for the lurk, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Enjoy your well deserved pizza. Yo, Nat, welcome in. How are you? How are you? Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, it's coming together. It's starting to come together bit by bit. Also, by the way, I do have sour Skittles now, but I waited to eat the two for you to succeed me something personally. Fair, fair. For those of you who don't know, Nat, feel free to plug in the chat if I get anything wrong, or even if you want to do. Nat is doing uh, it's charity streaming for why do I always forget the abbreviation for the network that Redria is part of? Is it CGRH? Gamers Outreach. Oh yes, yes, yeah, CGRH. Um, but yeah, they're doing a charity stream for Gamers Outreach, which basically helps provide kids with and again, for correct me if I'm wrong, it provides gaming stuff for kids like in the hospital, which I can attest to that being a great thing because when I was a kid, I had a very dangerous asthma attack uh, that put me in the hospital for a week or two. Um, and one of my formative memories was they would wheel in a big old TV like they did when you were in elementary school, and I got to play Super Mario World. Yeah, keep them having fun while they're having a hard time. So Um, Nat is participating in that as well, doing charity streams, um, and Nat has fun incentives, very fun incentives. One of which is you can make Nat eat some sour Skittles, which yeah. From what I learned from your stream the other day, apparently sour Skittles are discontinued in certain places. I didn't know that. So yeah, very worthy cause. If you're able to stop by Nat's channel while they're streaming, very worth checking out. And not just for the charity stuff. Nat's a very entertaining streamer. I really enjoy hanging out there. They are hard to find, but not impossible. Your boyfriend loves them, so he knows where to go. Ah, there you go. That's what you got to do. You got to have an in. But yeah, Nat is definitely worth a follow, and so is Elle, and so is Jess. And Elle, I can't remember. Do you stream? I know it's good. There's a lot of people in here. I should really be doing shout outs, but I get so wrapped up in painting that I forget. But there's a bunch of cool people in my community that you should definitely check out their streams. And even the ones who don't stream, they're also cool people. I got very lucky that you know the community that we've built here is just a bunch of cool people. You know, it's a blessing, really. I know so many places on the internet can be not so fun and not so cool. So, what with the terrors of anonymity and what that does to some people, you know, which is unfortunate, but we've been very fortunate here. And I got to give a credit to you all for making this such a cool space. You know, a cool, welcoming space. Especially because I've said it many times, like I'd be working on these paintings anyway. Um, it's cool that I get to share it with you all. Peek back. Oh my God, that road. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad it's coming together. Because I'm not gonna lie, every once and again I have my doubts on how this is looking, but I'm glad it seems to be going all right. I feel the wet. Good, good. Because this is a bunch of layers of paint, so. But good. I'm glad the wetness is coming across. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cover that up a bit. All right. Um, I'm just gonna check my computer real quick. Look at that lag on the webcam. I don't understand. I have my webcam set to 480p specifically so that it wouldn't like glitch out whenever I like move. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think it's just my webcam sucks. But just gonna check this out real quick. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. What time is it? 7:21? All right. Cool. Really have to be more cognizant of where I'm here because got my rag all the way on the other side of me. We're going to do just a little bit more. What I am going to do um, is I'm going to, for the last couple of minutes here, because I hate to cut, well, not cut it short. Streams are as long as you want them to be. Well, most of the time. Anyway, I hate to cut it short, but um, I haven't painted in a while. Oh, yes, I do. For those of you who don't know, my palettes, ever since I was in university, so there's a little bit of backstory here. I'll get to my other point in a minute, but a little backstory. When I was in university, I was a very poor university student, as a lot of people are, right? On student loans, didn't give you that much money. Um, and I went to the university bookstore where we got our art supplies for first year. And they were charging something ridiculous like $20 for a palette. And I was like, I can't really afford that right now in between the food that I'm trying to buy and like the CAF payment plan and all that, and paying for residence and paying for books and all that. Uh, like school is expensive. And again, like I didn't have much money myself, so it was all student loans, so it was all stuff I was gonna have to pay back. So I absolutely refused to pay $20 for a palette that was basically a piece of plastic. And I was like, what else is plastic? Vinyl records are plastic. Now, don't you worry. These are vinyl records that I get at the secondhand store that I have no interest in listening to. Um, I like disco. I like disco as a musical movement, but a lot of the disco songs I have on the albums of the artists that did them on the albums that they came out on, right? So what I'll buy up is like compilation albums, like this one. This one was like some sort of like disco fever thing, where uh, all the songs I have on other records. So exactly, it was like $2 at the thrift store, right? Because they had like 10 copies of it because it's just a compilation album that no one listens to anymore, right? So I thought, what better way to repurpose it than as a vinyl? I've got like 7 or 8 of these now, because they make fantastic palettes. Um, anyway, as I was saying, we're only gonna go for a couple more minutes. I will eventually do art streams that are 2 hours long again, but what with the move and getting married and being away from the game for a bit, especially after my solo show where I did basically all of the work in January of 2023 and then did nothing for a couple of like a number of months and then got married and then moved into a house and everything. I have to build up the muscle memory in my hands. Not muscle memory, but I have to build up the um, endurance in my hands again to paint for long periods of time. So basically, we're only doing an hour and a half for these first couple of streams back, really doing artwork, just until I get the endurance back up with my muscles, because my hands are sore right now. So I'm gonna give it a little break, and then eventually we'll be back to doing the 2-hour art streams again. Um, but yeah, painting up in this position can just it like my hand is sore. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna continue with the last little bit of this. Um, you should hang them in the with the art in the gallery if you use one for the entire. Oh yes, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. I should do that. All right. What were we gonna do? What were we gonna do before I got on my tangent? Uh, oh, right. We're gonna fill in this. So, some of you might be wondering. That's a green light, but it doesn't look very bright. Well, basically, what I learned is that for the working from the photo reference that I have, the light itself isn't green. The haze around the light is green. The light itself is a bright white. So we're going to fill in that bright white right now. That's just the way it showed up on camera. And obviously with our eyes, it'd be different. But I'm not currently good enough to actually get that hue with the greens that I make. So that'll have to do for now. And then the haze down here, there will be some white, but it'll also be green. The next time we're together, we'll start putting in the green haze in the street here. Yeah, and we're gonna have to put some red haze here for these signs, but that'll be next time. Right now, I'm content with the level of detail that we've got. And the amount of wetness that we've got. I'm good with this. I'm gonna do just a little more kind of teasing out here, and then I think we'll call it a stream. Then we got the whole other side of the road to do. But this is going to be fun because you'll notice that there's street lights down here and here and up here, not so much over here. That's because when I took this picture, there was a power outage on this side of the street, like starting at this block from here over. For some reason, it didn't touch these lights, but from here over, or that one. But that one might just be a reflection off of something. Everything from over here was all dark. So there aren't going to be as many highlights on this side of the street as there are on this one. So just a little tease for next time. And we've got a whole bunch of like small details still left to do. But that's where the painting gets fun. All right. So with that, I think that pretty much covers it for today. Because yeah, I gotta rest my hand a little bit. So yeah, I get that endurance back up. But hey, thank you, Nat. I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out, coming in and seeing what I'm doing. Lot of thank yous to give out today. L, Jess, thank you for the raids. Very much appreciated. Mick T19, again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Thank you for the follow. And thank you all for the lovely chats and the lovely company. And if you didn't chat, if you're just lurking, by all means, you're not obligated to chat. I'm just glad that you're here with us. So we're gonna pass on the raid, this lovely raid that we had. Hey, thank you, Squid. Thank you. You as well. We are going to raid. I don't have any art friends going right now, but Based Windu is a really cool guy, and he's playing some Fall Guys right now. Uh, and I believe he's doing a charity stream as well for CGRH. Look at that. So you get to see what that's all about for uh, what is it called? Gamers Outreach. That's what it's called. I had to scroll back up. So we're gonna go say hi to Base Window. I'm going to raid and run. I'll stay in there for a minute to say hello and everything. But I'm gonna raid and run because I got some stuff to clean up here and all this paint stuff to clean up. But we're gonna go say hi to Based Window. Yeah. In case anybody's wondering, the next stream that we're going to do is going to be Sunday. We're going to be playing some more Celeste. That'll probably be at 10 a.m. But check Twitter and, X. So stupid. And Blue Sky. I always post, and I try to post an hour before I start streaming. So check those posts around like 9 a.m. or it might be 10 a.m. and then we'll stream at 11. But I think we'll start streaming at 10 and go 10 to 12. But that'll be our next stream. And then after that will be Monday with some more art, some more of this. And then Tuesday we'll be playing some more Paper Mario as long as my Elgato will actually connect to OBS. But anyway, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out. And yeah, hopefully you'll be able to join us later on. And for now, let's go say hi to Based Windu. All right. Take it easy, everybody.